Alright, the name Sneako has been said a lot over the last 2 years, more than anyone would have imagined, including the man this video is based around. However, from the beginning, he's always been different, in the sense of not being a sheep and having different opinions and most importantly values than people around him, especially in this day and age. Sneako's inevitable rise to success was reached when he finally met like-minded individuals that had similar, if not the same outlook on life and life experiences that he has had. This is on clear display when he appears on the Fresh and Fit podcast. Now, I've linked this podcast below, and trust me, I think you should watch it because it is one of the most influential podcasts in recent dates. Listen, it might be controversial, but I think it is still extremely underrated, especially this video, or well, the episode Sneako is in.
And that's facts.
You know, because the amount of stuff they talk about just on that podcast alone, astounding, fam. It's literally astounding. But yeah, I mean, you clicked on this video and you're wondering why that's the title. You know, like, how could Sneako be dying? How can this channel be dying? But well, in recent events that has occurred, I mean, the average person, they would be crying, they would be running, you know, after what's happened to him. I mean, he's been cancelled, fam.
Brother, this guy's...
He had to migrate to a different fucking site. You know, all the other shit that's hitting him. You know, you wouldn't think he would be back to the glory days where, you know, he was first getting it from. Where he was first, you know, like, massive rise that he had just randomly. You know, I mean, you would think it's random, but considering the events that happened prior to his rise, it was just inevitable, really. But what I want to talk about today is, you know, the recent beef he's had with another well-known YouTuber that goes along the name of Moist Critical, or better known as on YouTube, Penguin Zero, Penguizzo, Charlie, Charles White Jr., the man, the myth, the legend himself. Now, Critical, he holds a very special place in my heart. That's why he's the reason why I'm making content. Like, you know, without him, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking about this. So I'm not gonna be, you know, biased towards him, because I also like Sneako and his content as well to a certain extent, you know, so there's a mutual agreement between the both of them with me, you know.
Nice.
But yeah, but to summarize the beef they're having, Critical's making fun of a guest that appeared on the Fresh and Fit podcast, you know, the same podcast that Sneako appeared on, you know, the one that I'm still praising highly because it is a very good podcast.
Nice.
You know, and trust me, on that podcast, you can see Sneako's mindset and, you know, what made him who he is today. But yeah, going back to the guest that appeared, you know, he's also a personal friend of Sneako's. And of course, by nature, you'd want to back your boy in that situation. And Sneako did, as well as all men should do in that situation. Because, I mean, if it was my friend that was getting attacked, I don't give a shit who the fuck it was, man. I don't care who it was. You're trying to come at my friend, you're coming at me, bro. I can't let that run. All my friends know that if that happened to me, they can't let that run. You know, but of course there's some people in this world that would let it run because they're just too scared to get into confrontations with people. And that is, well, quite a shit fucking way to go about it, but oh well, you know, it is what it is. People do whatever they need to do or whatnot, but yeah. But you know what's funny though? This isn't the first time Sneako and Charlie has had a run-in with each other. And trust me, I advise you to go watch Charlie's video. That summarizes this whole situation and even more. But I mean, if we go away from that beef and we look at Sneako's overall, you know, internet footprint, his digital footprint, and the things that has happened to him, I promise you, most people would crumble. Not even most. 99% of people would crumble from what's happened to him. I mean, the amount of eyes he's got watching him globally, especially having beef with top content creators day after day after day, and this guy just comes back, fam. Trust me, when you think about it properly, most people can't do that shit. They would get into beef with one fucking content creator, yeah? They'll be out, they'll be crumbling, bro. They'll be fucked. But Sneako, nah, and that's where you have to give it to him. You know? He's done all of this, and yet look where he's at now, fam. You gotta give it to him. But, I mean, the thing that does get displayed the most when it's, you know, time of beefing with other content creators is everyone's mentality towards shit. Of course, some good things come out and some bad things come out. But 99.9% of the time, if you know what you're doing, the good outweighs the cons. And that's how Sneako is here today. Because whenever you look at the beefs he's had, the things that show is his mentality. But what I think is that he will keep on growing. Whether it's at a steady pace or a massive boom, which he's previously shown he can handle, you know, but he will still be able to grow. And every step of the way, his mentality becomes even more mature than it already is. And that's something you gotta respect from him. And every other man should aspire to be like that. You know, where you have a massive hit, you mature your mind mentally, you get back on the saddle, and you work harder. I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, you know? That's all I can say. That's the best analogy for it. But to call his channel dying would be a massive overstatement. And I mean a massive overstatement. I mean, you look at the new platform he's on right now, Rumble. The one with fucking Steve Will Do It and all these other people. But to mention Andrew Tate, I mean, come on. You know, to mention Top G himself, yeah, I think we all know when someone says Rumble, all they can imagine is Andrew Tate. But to him but for Sneako to be on that platform and to do even bigger numbers than he was doing when he was on YouTube, some people won't ever be able to fathom that. They just simply can't comprehend that. He can now, like, this is the one thing that does get to me, is like, now he can finally express himself on this new platform where he knows he won't be shackled down with restraints. He won't be shackled down by the matrix, fam. He can finally break free and express himself without the fear of being cancelled. I mean, he's been cancelled once, and yet look at him, he's doing better than ever, fam. Sneako has definitely done the best he could ever do in the situation he got put in. He's gained more dubs than else, fam. But most importantly, his Rumble channel is projecting astronomical numbers with no sign of stopping. He has done a lot more than what people will ever say he's done, you know, because he's done so much, and yet people will never give him the recognition he deserves as a top content creator, but most importantly, as a top individual. But trust me, man, he deserves way more recognition, because I mean, come on, look how many people he's helped. Shit's messed, man. Shit's messed. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.